In a small business, speed and adaptability are the safety nets. That's why the most relevant leadership models for us aren't coming from Fortune 500 management books. They're coming from winning sports teams, head-to-head competition disciplines like jiu-jitsu and martial arts schools. And these are also consistent with how military special operations units function. In special ops training, soldiers are operational within months, not years, in some cases weeks. For example, jumping out of airplanes, including jets and a night jump. It's a 3-week course and hasn't changed much since I attended almost 50 years ago. The training is standardized based on best practices, and while this was not known when it was designed nearly a century ago, the methodology was based on how our 200,000-year-old brain learns and performs. The same is true for the ancient arts. They didn't have scanning tools to understand the nervous system, but through trial and error, they landed on what works, and those principles are still in use today across all these disciplines because they work and because the 200,000-year-old brain hasn't changed. That's the mindset we need for business development. If the Army can train a special ops soldier to function effectively as part of a precision unit, if they can do this in weeks and months, what can you accomplish in 6 months? Small business leadership development must be deliberate. We know exactly what we're training for and include some validation. Standardized, so everyone knows the plays and can execute without hesitation. Progressive, each stage builds on the last, increasing complexity and capability, but also reinforcing what has already been learned. Now, you may think leaders don't want training and development. While that may be true, we know they want autonomy, competence, and being part of something important. So as the owner or senior leader, you leverage what they want to get them what they need. Imagine this. Every person on your team has a clear path to becoming a top performer in their role. Skills are introduced, tested, reinforced, and expanded. Weaknesses get addressed before they become costly. And when an opportunity or crisis appears, your team doesn't just react, they execute. It's worth the effort. In the next 2 parts, I'll connect this with neuroscience and provide an example that you can use as a template to start installing this methodology into your organization or your team. Now, there's a big difference between the basketball team examples in your organization. No one is actively trying to stop your every play. Think about that. If a sports team can do it with an opponent in their face every second, what can you do with a clear field ahead of you? Small businesses aren't at a disadvantage. You can train faster, adapt faster, and win faster than companies 10 times your size. It takes a playbook, and it takes leaders and team members who know how to execute the plays, even on a bad day of a bad week. Now I'll wrap up with some examples so that we can start to make this practical. Now, using my examples of martial arts, sports teams, and special ops, those are all physical. Business is mental. That's an easy thing for people to say, right? It doesn't apply to business. This is mental. I tell them what they do and they do it. Not so fast. Each of those disciplines I mentioned rely on both cognitive and physical skills. They're based on nervous system memory. Most people are comfortable talking about muscle memory, but here's the thing, it's not muscle memory at all. Muscles do adapt, but they do so with strength and endurance. The timing, precision, fast or slow twitch, that's nervous system memory. So it's not muscle memory, it's nervous system memory. Now, when you say that 95% of a person's actions are habitual, where do you think those habits reside? Again, nervous system memory. As associations, they are literally stored in the network of neurons with the synapses, myelinated neurons, etc.